Hello, welcome to the Cheater's Diary, where we share raw, real-life stories packed with emotion and unforgettable twists. If you love this video, hit that like button and subscribe to join us in spreading meaningful stories. All right, let's dive into today's journey. I'm Ethan, 26, a laptop repair guy scraping by. It's not a glamorous gig, but it covers rent. I live in a small apartment, a 20-minute commute from work, with my roommate Jake. Our place is nothing special, a rundown unit with peeling walls and thrift store furniture, but it's home, and I'm cool with it. I work at a tech repair kiosk tucked next to the food court in a bustling mall. You know the kind of spot. People drop off their broken laptops praying I can resurrect them while they munch on tacos or sip overpriced coffee. Every day, I deal with cracked screens, sluggish software, or MacBooks that just stopped working after an obvious drop. One time, a guy brought in a machine with a dented corner, swearing, "I didn't do anything." I just nodded, gave a half smile, and got to work. It's the same routine. Crack open a machine, check cables, swap a battery, repeat. But in that monotony, I started noticing familiar faces. The food court's like a stage. There's the old man eating a sub in the corner, the girl at the taco stand who's always smiling despite her long shifts, and then I saw her. That woman. She always sat at the same table just left of the taco stand. Mid-30s, maybe early 40s, but she looked younger. Dark brown hair, always neat. Sometimes in a high ponytail, sometimes loose. She dressed sharp. One day a black blazer, the next a crisp white button-up paired with heels that clicked like a metronome. Her laptop bag probably cost more than my rent. She had this vibe, like she belonged in a corner office or the top floor of a skyscraper. Not the kind of person who'd notice a guy like me. I never caught her name, never heard it. But I heard her voice. Every time she took a call, it was low, confident, commanding. Always talking about contracts, legal terms, stuff I couldn't wrap my head around. "We need to revisit this clause," she'd say, cool as ice, like nothing could rattle her. I'd sit behind my counter a few feet away pretending to tinker with a laptop, but really, I was listening. Not on purpose, it was just impossible to tune her out. We locked eyes a few times, just fleeting glances. I'd nod, a polite hello. She didn't smile back, not cold or stuck up, just neutral, like she didn't have time for pointless pleasantries. I told myself she was out of my league, a laptop repair guy in a faded tee and worn-out sneakers. No way she'd give me a second look, but I kept watching her. Every day, around noon, she'd show up. Some days she had a salad, others just a coffee from the corner cafe. Once I saw her drop a cheap ballpoint pen while digging through her bag. I picked it up, handed it back. "Thanks," she said, clipped, eyes glued to her laptop. I smiled, backed off to my kiosk. My heart raced a bit, but I told myself to chill. She was a whole different world. Then I started noticing more, not just her outfits or her voice, but the little things. The way she typed, fast, but not rushed. The way she'd pause, stare out the window, lost in some deep thought. One day, I saw her help an older lady at a nearby table pick up a dropped napkin. She did it so naturally, no big deal. I wondered, someone like her, with that polished exterior, did she ever get tired? Did she ever want to drop the strong woman act? I didn't have the guts to talk to her. I'm not the guy who chats up strangers, especially not someone like her. So I just watched from behind my counter as she came and went. Every time she stood up, grabbed her bag, and walked off, I felt a little pang, like a tiny piece of my day vanished. I told myself, "Come on, Ethan, you're dreaming too big." She probably had a perfect life, a perfect guy, a fancy condo somewhere downtown. She didn't need a guy like me. But then, one small moment changed everything. I was on my lunch break, chowing down on a $6 burger, my version of a fancy lunch. She walked in, same as always, navy blazer, coffee in hand. She sat at the table next to mine, less than 6 feet away. I tried not to stare, but it was tough. Something about her just pulled me in, like a spotlight. I took a bite of my burger and, out of nowhere, chuckled to myself. Then I mumbled, "Bet she'd never date a guy like me." I didn't mean to say it out loud, swear to God, but she heard me. She turned, slow, like she wasn't sure what she'd caught. My face burned. "Oh crap, Ethan, what did you just do?" I was about to apologize, laugh it off like an idiot, but then she smiled. Not a polite smile, a real one, bold, like she'd just found something intriguing, And then she said, just 2 words. My brain short-circuited. What did she just say? Try me? I stared at her, burger still in my mouth, no clue what to do next. She didn't wait for me to respond. She took a bite of her salad, checked something on her phone, and kept eating, like nothing had happened. But for me, the whole world had just flipped upside down. Ethan sat there, burger going cold in his hands. Try me. Her words looped in his head like a stuck song. Did she really say that? He glanced over. She was eating her salad, calm as ever, like she just commented on the weather. His face was on fire. He wanted to say something, anything, but his mouth felt glued shut. She checked her phone, fingers gliding across the screen. Then she looked up, her eyes flicking toward him, and smiled. Not mocking, not pitying, just confident, like she knew exactly what she'd done. See you tomorrow, she said, standing, grabbing her laptop bag, and walking off. Her heels clicked on the tile, blending into the food court's hum. Ethan stayed put for another 15 minutes, staring at his burger. He replayed the moment in his head. Try me. Was she joking? No, that wasn't a joke. That smile, that voice, no trace of pretense. He got up, tossed his leftovers in the trash, and headed back to the kiosk. The rest of the afternoon, he was a mess. He even put a laptop battery in backward, earning a complaint from a customer. Sorry, he muttered, fixing it. But his mind wasn't there. It was stuck on her. On those 2 words. The next morning, Ethan showed up at the food court early, 11:45. He wasn't hungry, but he grabbed a soda, pretending to scroll through his phone. Really, he was just skimming spam emails, eyes glued to the entrance. His heart pounded every time someone in a blazer walked by. Then she appeared. 12:37. She strode in, same commanding presence, like the crowd parted for her. Today, she wore a black blazer, dark jeans, and a cream top. Her hair shimmered under the overhead lights. She scanned the food court, and when her eyes landed on Ethan, he felt like he'd been zapped. She walked straight to his table, no hesitation. You're here early, she said, her voice smooth but sharp. Ethan managed a smile. Slow morning, he said, voice shaky. You eaten yet? Nope. She glanced around, then back at him. Come on, you owe me a coffee. Ethan blinked. Wait, are we actually doing this? She raised an eyebrow, a playful glint in her eyes. You said I wouldn't date a guy like you. I said, try me. So try me. She tilted her head, daring him. Ethan stood, his head spinning. He followed her to the coffee shop by the escalator. He held the door open, and she shot him a look like, don't get cocky. Ethan grinned. They ordered. She got a flat white. He got black coffee. He reached for his wallet, but she waved him off. You're stressed enough without owing me, she said. I'm not stressed, Ethan shot back, but his voice betrayed him. She side-eyed him. You're totally stressed. Her lips twitched, almost a smile. They sat by the window, sunlight glinting off her coffee cup. The air grew heavy. Silence. Not the cozy kind, the kind that made Ethan want to bolt. Who was he to sit here across from her? She was probably a lawyer, arguing cases in court, signing deals with guys in tailored suits. He was just a tech guy, crashing on a lumpy mattress, eating $6 burgers. He cleared his throat, breaking the quiet. Just to be clear, this isn't some prank, right? She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. Do I look like I mess around? Ethan studied her. Soft hair, steady brown eyes. No, she didn't look like she played games. No, he said. You don't. Good. She nodded, sipping her coffee. The silence returned, but softer this time, like a sigh. Then she spoke. Tell me about you, Ethan. He flinched. She knew his name. Had he told her? Not much to tell. Been fixing computers a few years. Dropped out of college. Rent a place with my buddy Jake. Fix laptops, watch basketball, sleep. That's about it. He paused, realizing he'd just summed up his life in 3 sentences. What about you? You like your job? She smiled, small but real. Some days, yeah, others not so much, but I'm good at it, so I keep going. She paused, gazing out the window. Most guys I meet try to impress me, talk up their job, their car, their watch. You don't. I like that. Ethan shrugged, playing it cool. Got nothing to flex. Who told you that? She looked right at him. Life, she could see, I guess. Girls I've dated, they'd bounce before I even got a shot. My family, they think I should be doing something bigger. He forced a laugh, but it faded fast. She didn't respond right away. She sipped her coffee, thoughtful. I get that, she said quieter. People look at me, think I've got it all. Nice place, career, confidence. But most days I eat lunch alone. Go home, pour a glass of wine, drink half, go to bed. That's it. Ethan blinked. He hadn't expected that. Her, the powerhouse. Lonely? He stared at his coffee. "You're not eating alone today," he said, almost a whisper. She smiled, softer than ever. "No, not today." They started talking, really talking. Her name was Lauren, 33, a civil litigation lawyer, divorced 4 years ago. Loved binge-watching K-dramas, hated social media, used to play piano but quit because law school sucked her soul dry. Ethan shared his love for retro video games, the time he tried stand-up comedy and bombed, how he sometimes fixes laptops for free for stressed-out customers. Lauren laughed so hard at that one she nearly spilled her coffee. "You're such a softie," she said, eyes sparkling. Ethan smirked. "Soft, maybe. Nice? Jury's out." "Don't get too humble. It doesn't suit you," she teased, winking. 2 hours flew by like 2 minutes. When they stood to leave, Ethan felt like he'd run a marathon. His heart was racing, but not from fear, from her. Lauren checked her watch, sighed. "Back to work." "Yeah, me too," Ethan said. "Laptops don't fix themselves." She smiled. "You always talk like that, like you're joking to shield yourself." Ethan hesitated. "Only when I'm nervous." She didn't reply, just walked off, then turned back. "Hey, Ethan, I had fun today. You're not what I expected. In a good way." She left, and Ethan's phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. Coffee was solid. Next time, he read it over and over, grinning like an idiot. Ethan sat in his cramped apartment, the phone's glow dim in the corner. Lauren's text stared back at him, unanswered. Coffee was solid. Next time. He read it again, thumb hovering over the screen for the 12th time. What did she mean? Did she really want to see him again, or was she just being nice? He leaned back, eyes drifting to the window. Night had settled in, just the flicker of streetlights outside. He thought back to the last time he thought a girl was into him, freshman year of college. Her name was Chloe. Blonde, bright smile. He asked her to a movie. She said yes. Then, the night before, she texted, "Sorry, something came up." She wasn't busy. Ethan saw her on Instagram, laughing with some frat guy in a baseball cap. He never texted back, never tried again. Now Lauren. She wasn't Chloe, wasn't like anyone he'd met. But that made it scarier. She was too real, too. Everything. He was just a repair guy, living in a place with a leaky faucet and a creaky mattress. She belonged on a different level, with men in sleek suits, not sipping $6 coffee with him. Ethan turned off his phone, tossed it on the table. "She'll change her mind," he muttered. "Just a matter of time." The next morning, Ethan hit the food court early, 11:45. He wasn't hungry, just nursed a soda, eyes locked on the entrance. Every blazer that passed made his pulse spike. Noon. 12:15. No Lauren. He checked his phone. No texts. He told himself it was fine. She was busy. She's a lawyer, probably had bigger things to do than show up to meet a guy like him. But deep down, he knew. He hadn't replied to her text. He'd let the chance slip. Day 2. He waited again. 12:30. Still no Lauren. He stared at his watch, then the crowd. A woman walked by, long hair, blazer. His heart leaped, but it wasn't her. He sighed, headed back to the kiosk. A customer dropped off a coffee-soaked laptop, screen flickering. Ethan worked, but his hands shook. He thought of Lauren, her smile, the way she looked at him like he mattered. "I'm such an idiot," he whispered, unscrewing the machine. Day 3, he stopped waiting. He stood behind the counter, wiping down an old Dell, eyes on the task. But his mind was at that table she used to sit at. Jake, his roommate, noticed something was off. "Yo, what's up with you?" Jake asked, chewing a sandwich. "Get dumped and didn't tell me." Ethan shook his head. "No one to dump me." "Liar," Jake said, smirking. "You've got that I screwed up look all over you." Ethan didn't answer. Jake wasn't wrong. He'd blown it. No reply, no showing up, nothing. He was scared. Scared Lauren would realize he wasn't enough. Scared she'd leave, like Chloe, like everyone else. He went back to cleaning the screen, trying to push the thoughts away. Noon. A text. "Lauren. So, you're actually busy, or did my lawyer vibes scare you off? Which is it?" Ethan stared at the screen, heart hammering. She texted. She hadn't given up. He wanted to reply instantly, but his fingers froze. He typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, he sent, "Sorry." Didn't mean to ghost. Just thought maybe you were joking. Message sent. He waited. 1 minute. 2. Then the typing dots appeared. Lauren was replying. I don't say things I don't mean. Meet me at your kiosk in 15. Ethan checked the time. 12:10. He wiped down the counter, checked the mirror. Messy hair, wrinkled shirt. He cursed, tried to fix his hair. At 12:23, Lauren showed up. No blazer today. Just a gray sweater, jeans, hair loosely tied. She didn't look like a powerhouse lawyer. She looked like someone he could talk to for hours. She held a laptop bag, smiling. Brought an excuse, she said, lifting the bag. So people think I'm here for a repair. Ethan laughed, relieved. Smart move. You okay? Lauren asked, eyes serious. He nodded, not entirely sure. She leaned against the counter, glancing around. Ghosting a lawyer's a bold move, she said, half joking, half not. I didn't mean to ghost you, Ethan said, rubbing his neck. I don't know. Don't know what? Lauren looked right at him, unwavering. Ethan sighed. I thought it was too good to be true. You, me. I'm a guy fixing laptops, crashing on a cheap mattress. You're on another level. Lauren paused, then pulled a MacBook from her bag, set it on the counter. It's actually broken, she said. Charging port's shot. But I brought it here so you'd talk to me. Ethan blinked, then laughed. Real laugh. You seriously brought a laptop to make me talk? Let's say that, she said, lips curving. What's your deal, Ethan? If you're playing games, just say so. I'm not chasing someone who wants to be chased. No games, he said fast. I'm just not used to this, to being seen like this. Lauren nodded slowly. All right, let me show you how it works. She leaned closer, voice steady. I'm free Saturday, 2 p.m. Park walk. No pressure. You bring food and that awkward vibe. I'll bring backup coffee and some snark. Deal? Ethan stared, then grinned. Deal? Lauren's eyes held his, challenging, warm. Don't ghost me again. I won't, he said, surer than he felt. She turned to leave, then paused. Hey, Ethan. Yeah? I really like that coffee date. Don't overthink it. She walked off, leaving Ethan with her MacBook. He looked at it, smiling. She wasn't perfect. She wasn't untouchable. She was just someone who thought he was worth a shot. And this time, he wouldn't let fear win. Ethan stood in front of his mirror, debating between a gray hoodie and a blue sweater. He wanted to look real, not sloppy. He went with the sweater, clean jeans. Keep it simple, he muttered, raking his hair. His phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. I'm here, Southgate. The one not trying too hard. Ethan laughed, locked the apartment, and headed out. His heart was pounding, but not from fear. This time, it felt like anticipation for something good. The park was lively. Kids running around, couples walking, some guy butchering a trumpet solo in the distance. Lauren stood by the fountain, light jacket, jeans, hair down. She looked more approachable than ever, no lawyer polish. Just Lauren holding 2 coffees, smiling when she saw him. You showed up, she said, handing him a coffee. Black, right? You remembered, Ethan said, taking it, hands shaky. Duh, she teased, winking. They started walking, blending into the crowd. The vibe was easy, like they'd done this 100 times. They talked about random stuff, pigeons fighting over crumbs, a kid chasing a goose and almost face-planting. Ethan told her about the time he spilled ketchup on a client's keyboard, and Lauren laughed so hard she had to stop to breathe. You're a walking disaster, she teased, but her eyes were kind. They found a bench, half sun, half shade, and sat down. Lauren sipped her coffee, gazing out. You always nervous around people? She asked, gentle. Ethan nodded. Not always, just with people who matter. She didn't laugh. She looked at the trees, thoughtful. I don't usually date guys from my work zone, she said. Too risky. Ethan chuckled. Yeah, I don't usually date lawyers who could out-argue my entire life. Lauren turned, eyes glinting. My ex was a lawyer. She paused, took a breath. We met in law school. Built a life, careers, nice condo. Then he cheated. 3 years after we got married, with a 23-year-old who said I didn't see him anymore. Like it was my fault. Ethan didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, he said, meaning it. She nodded. Almost 4 years ago. I dated a bit after, but it went nowhere. I stopped looking. Then I saw you, always in that gray hoodie, eating fries like it's your job. Fries she smiled, and he joked. Laughed too. You're cute. In the realest way, Lauren said, eyes soft. You don't pretend. You just are. When you said I wouldn't date a guy like you, I wanted to prove you wrong. Ethan's heart stopped. So this isn't just for kicks, right? She shook her head. I don't do casual. I don't need glitz. I need real. He swallowed. I don't have much to give much. You think I care about stuff? She asked, firm. You listened to me over coffee more than my ex did. They sat in silence. The good kind. Not awkward. Ethan spoke up. You think people can really start over? Lauren looked at him. Not from scratch, but you can start from where you are if someone's willing to meet you there. He nodded slowly. Sounds fair. They kept walking, grabbed ice cream despite the chill. They sat by the pond, laughing as a kid tried to chase a goose and got chased. As the sun dipped, Lauren turned to him. Come to my place. Ethan blinked. Huh? Nothing big, she said quickly. Just wine and leftovers. I'm not ready for today to end. He hesitated, then nodded. All right. Lauren's apartment was small, cozy, warm yellow lights, books stacked on the table. A lazy cat curled up on a chair, giving Ethan a one-eyed stare. Lauren poured 2 glasses of wine, reheated leftover Thai food. They sat on the couch, ate, talked, laughed. She told him about the time she tried karaoke and cleared the room. He shared how he once spilled ramen on a client's keyboard, nearly getting fired. Between stories, Lauren paused, looked at him. I like this, she said, serious. Us. Me too, Ethan said, feeling like he'd just said the biggest thing in his life. They sat close, not touching, just quiet. No kiss, no need for more, just that rare feeling of being safe. 3 months passed, no rush, no big declarations. Just quiet mornings, long talks, real moments. They met regularly. Once a week became twice, then whole weekends. Lauren brought food to Ethan's place, unbothered by the peeling paint or leaky faucet. Ethan stopped by hers, bringing cheap wine and stories about weird clients. Jake noticed the change. You're smiling more, Jake said, pouring cereal. That lawyer chick's got you whipped. Ethan didn't deny it. She makes things easy, good. Lauren didn't try to fix him. She didn't make him feel small. At a backyard barbecue with her friends, she introduced him. This is Ethan. He's better at reading people than he knows. A friend whispered, You too serious. Lauren overheard, answered for him. He's the first guy in years I don't have to fake it for. Ethan wanted to kiss her then, but he waited until they were in the car. In the dark, he said, So we're really doing this? Like, for real? She looked at him, nodded. I think so. One morning, Ethan's brought donuts and coffee to Lauren's office. She had a packed day of meetings, and he knew she'd skip breakfast. He walked into her building, took the elevator to floor 7. The receptionist smiled. Lauren was in a meeting, talking to a guy in a suit. She saw him, excused herself, stepped out. You're early, she said, surprised. You're always starving by 11, Ethan said, handing her the coffee. She smiled, kissed his cheek. You're catching on. Just paying attention, he said, passing her the bag. Eat. Yes, sir, she laughed, taking the bag. As he turned to leave, she called after him. Dinner tonight. Always, Ethan said, stepping into the elevator, heart still racing. Ethan and Lauren sat back at the food court where it all started. Not romantic, not fancy, but it was theirs. Theirs. Lauren brought fries. Ethan brought a burger. They ate, laughed, and shared everyday stories. He leaned back, smirking. Still think I'm not your type? She raised an eyebrow. Who said that? You, Ethan teased. No, wait. I said. She laughed, shaking her head. Right, you did. They sat quiet, soaking in the familiar food court buzz. Then Ethan spoke, almost without thinking. I used to say you'd never date a guy like me. Lauren looked at him, lips curling into a soft smile, and I said, try me. I did, he said, meeting her eyes. And I was wrong. She leaned forward, elbows on the table. About what? Everything. That I wasn't enough. That you weren't real. That this wouldn't go anywhere. Lauren paused, then said, You weren't wrong. You were just scared. Ethan nodded. I'm still scared, but it's good scared. She took his hand across the table. Me too. But I like this kind of scared. They finished eating, tossed their trash, and walked out. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the street. They held hands, walked on, no words needed, no drama, no movie moment, just them, together, in the realest moment. Hey, this is the Cheater's Diary, where we tell true stories about moments that change lives. Ethan and Lauren remind us that love doesn't need to be perfect, just real. Have you ever missed a chance because of fear, or taken a leap and found something true? Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more inspiring stories. Drop a comment. Do you think Ethan will keep seizing this chance? Or do you have a story like this? We want to hear it all. Let's keep sharing real moments starting today.